What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the Stand Up Guys podcast. I'm once again your host, the incomparable Zach Jones, alongside the Zeppo marks to my Groucho marks, Lester Jones.
Hi.
See, I really buried you there because, of course, Zeppo Marks is the untalented brother that they got rid of. I got you.
I'll stick around for as long as I can, I guess.
I thought about like saying you're the Stephen Baldwin to my Alec Baldwin just to be slightly more current, but then I'm like, Alec Baldwin seems like kind of a dickhead. So
yeah, I don't have a good read on Alec Baldwin. I think Edger likes Alec.
I just like 30 Rock. I thought he was funny.
Well, he's funny and stuff, but like then in real life he comes off as kind of a dick sometimes. Yeah. All right, so rounding out the panel, the ninth wonder, Chocolate Thunder, licking butts and getting in guts, the ass tasting, times a wasting, having fun eating that scrum, the phenomenal one, AJ Singh.
Oh wow, how do I live up to that?
That's the best one so far.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Well, see, I'm thinking about making that the permanent one for you because, like, I have to come up with a different one for him every week. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to come up with a good one for you.
Yeah, that one's good.
Like if you hadn't spent the time to make that up, you probably could have had a job by now.
Maybe. I'll never have one.
No, you can put it on your resume.
Now, I was considering, and see if this hits you better, the part in the middle, the ass tasting times wasting. For alliteration, I was thinking the turd tasting times wasting.
No,
that's gross.
Yeah.
What if I do it every now and again? Like, you know how like on the Batman 66 TV show, like when they had a Batgirl episode, really quick at the end of the title sequence, they'd have her write the cartoon like of her riding the cross on the Bat cycle.
Jesus Christ, nobody's gonna get that. But okay, keep going.
Somebody will get that. So like every once in a while, when I know we're
like
gonna
he goes across the banner at the bottom eating somebody's ass.
Well, if we had a video, that would be pretty good. But no, see, every once in a while, when I know there's going to be a turd topic on the show, I say the turd tasting times a wasting.
And then he rides across on a brown worm.
And then people are like, ooh, this is going to be a turd episode.
Yeah, put it on YouTube. Gotta get to YouTube.
Turd word.
All right, let's get this started. So as we always start, did anybody have anything good from the week anything they liked from the week they'd like to talk about?
Nothing for me.
I don't remember anything except working.
The one thing I really loved, and I tweeted about this, was on Twitter, there was a clip from Ben Shapiro's show where he's basically like reading the lyrics to that Wet Ass Pussy song.
What? Damn. And it's follow your Twitter a little closer.
And it's funny. You know what it reminded me of, which is another clip I love, is like, do you remember how like in the 90s, Charlton Heston was like the spokesperson for the NRA?
Yeah.
And in the early 90s, I think it was that like Cop Killer song by Ice-T came out. And he's like also like reading the lyrics and he's like, die, 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 pig, die. That's a catchy tune. I just love that. It's so silly.
I haven't seen that, but yeah, that sounds awesome. Too bad he died, huh? Or did he die? I don't know.
Yeah, Charlton Heston did die. I don't remember when, but he's been gone. Not that long ago, but a while. All right, so let's get into the show. Who wants to go first with their topic?
Well, I have one. It was about green onion flavored cereal in Korea. So in 2004, Chex, the brand, offered 2 cartoon candidates in the presidential election for the Chex Choco Empire: chocolate-flavored Checky and green onion-flavored Chaka. It was supposed to be an easy victory for chocolate-flavored Checky, but Chaka got more votes. Chex was surprised by the vote and claimed that some people voted more than one time. So they canceled the election and they just gave Checky the victory, so chocolate flavor won. But for years, fans of Chaka have been campaigning for the green onion cereal, and now 16 years later, they have it. People in Korea often eat like savory breakfast, so it's not a new thing for them. One lady who voted for the cereal as a child became one of the 50 tasters out of 14,200 applicants, and she said it was too mild. But yeah, green onion flavored cereal.
So is that a metaphor for this election?
It could be.
We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
That is how it tends to work. People vote for one thing and get another thing.
Yeah, public polling in a world of trolls is a questionable practice.
Remember that story from a couple years ago where, like, I think it was like in England, they had some like boat
Yeah.
they were trying to name, and they let the public like come up with names for it, and like one of them was like Bodie McBoatface or something
Yeah.
like that. And I think that's the one that people voted for, but then I think they like didn't go with it or something.
They're like, nah, you guys are assholes.
Every time you leave it up to the people, they're going to go some other direction with it.
Well, when Colbert was doing the Colbert Report, how many things did he have named after him?
Oh yeah, because he would do that a lot, wouldn't
Because
he?
he's like, hey guys, there's a bridge up for grabs. How much you'd go on there and vote for Stephen Colbert?
Man, I missed the Colbert Report so much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny character.
Like, that is one time period like I so miss, is that like Power Hour of like Jon Stewart Daily Show followed by the Colbert Report. That was just like great entertainment.
And nothing's been able to replace it since then.
No, I mean, I wish Jon Stewart would do a podcast or something. I miss his take on things.
I've seen him he was on Joe Rogan recently. I listened to that, but he just seemed like he's exhausted. He's tired of that stuff.
Yeah, I guess I don't
could see
blame
that.
him.
But didn't he get into doing like charity work with animals or something?
Yeah, I think like him and his wife do some of that, and then he's also, always trying to get bills passed for like the 9/11 first responders and things like that.
He's got a couple pet projects.
Yeah,
He does
that kind of
movies
stuff.
too.
Oh yeah, he did like direct a movie.
I didn't hear about that.
It was a few years ago. I think he was actually still doing the Daily Show at the time. But all right, yeah, onion cereal, or that doesn't sound good to me.
Yeah, it's gross.
I don't know if he was like a little kind of like airy, little crunchy. Because I mean, I like Funyuns.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, that's true. Most of the people who they questioned about the cereal, they said that they wouldn't drink it. They wouldn't eat it with milk. They would just eat it by itself.
yeah, just like a snack.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see
Of
that.
course, isn't soup basically like a savory cereal?
Right, you could cook it up in some chicken stock, maybe.
Ugh. All right, you got something for us this week?
Man, it's on me already. So this turned out to be false, but I was reading, I got caught up in this fake headline about Alabama Man, and a story is going to be good when it starts with Alabama Man,
Or Florida Man?
Florida
Yeah.
Man, or anywhere in the South in general. But it was Alabama Man accidentally impregnates his sister at a furry party. And I was like, this sounds true. And, then you go down the rabbit hole and you're like, oh, it's not true. Damn.
Oh, that's
But I mean, it raises some questions about this like weird kind of little culture about the furries and like what's going on there. But it seems weird, and also like, how do you know that you're not fucking your sister at one of these parties or something?
That's true. I never thought about that with the whole furry thing, but do you think that adds to the excitement where they're like, I don't know who I'm with, or
I kind of wondered that, but I was also like, maybe if you're like fantastically ugly, like that's a good place to get laid.
that's true, because then you can be Disney style cute,
Right. And like, you don't know you're humping a 90-year-old grandma.
and you probably are.
yeah. I imagine everybody there's got some issues.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know that you're talking last week about those guys that were dating much older women. Maybe that's how it started. Is they were boning someone at a furry party.
The mask fell off.
The mask fell off, but they're like, you know what? This was okay.
Like, yeah,
I'm gonna finish.
I can live with this. I've had worse.
Yeah, it's furry. The whole furry thing is so strange.
Yeah, I would need a furry to explain it to me because I can't wrap my mind around it.
I think at least if you'd want to be like, let me take a peek under the hood first. I don't want to go in this blind.
I mean, some of them might do that, but then I bet there's a lot of them that don't.
But there's also like that same thing at like a glory hole or something. He's like, you don't know who's on the other side of that thing.
Yeah.
This could be like 500-pound like fucking trucker
Yeah, you know it's probably a dude.
Yeah, slamming your knob in the back of his throat.
But if you're someone using a glory hole, you probably don't care that much, apparently.
Right, you're at a certain point in your life. You're like, you've come there and you're just like, well.
There it is. I'm doing this. I'm locked in.
But yeah, it's pretty bad that we're all like disappointed that story wasn't true.
Yeah.
It's like, that would have been a great
But I mean, what does that say
As far
about?
as like parody stories, that's a great hook, right?
Can you imagine that, like, let's say you went to like your sister or something though, and you're like, hey, I have something to confess to you. I'm a furry. And then she was like, you know what? I am too. Then your mind would automatically be like, oh no, have we ever been in the same
Right.
place? At the same
That's part of the story I was wondering was about, like, how did they figure it out? Like, at what point, did this? Because this is a story. Like, how did you figure it out?
You do kind of wonder, like what causes a furry to be born? Is it like something with their stuffed animals when they're kids or something?
Well, so I was on Wikipedia. I didn't go too deep, but like some of them have like a stuffed animal fetish. Some of them have like animal fetishes, like actual animals.
Oh,
But also there's like a lot of gays and bisexuals and like a big mix of like the people who are doing it.
so it's like it's like the next best thing to bestiality that they can't do.
Maybe it's part of living out that fantasy, I guess, which is weird.
What's it say about Alabama though? That somebody went with Alabama Man does this, that we actually believed it.
It's like, we got to make this believable.
I wish Montana wasn't one of those places, but it probably is. Or if you said Montana, they'd be like, yeah, I can imagine.
Well, when I was overseas, like, I ran into a lot of like foreign people who basically they thought Montana was this militant, subdivision where we're just out with our guns and ready to fight. And
Almost like we're like Waco
we're
cults or whatever.
We're like the Civil War, like little, thing to itself.
We're the people that never got the message that the war was ended.
Well, I mean, we had that big Montana militia that got a lot of news in like the 80s, 90s.
Oh, yeah. What was that, like Ruby Ridge or something?
Yeah, so there was, I think, following some of the news. It's surprising that anyone overseas knows Montana because not shit happens there,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, remember, it seems like when I was in middle school, what was that group called? That like, they basically just didn't want to pay their taxes. I think they were like called the Freemen or something.
I think there were some freemen, something like that.
And I know there was a big group of them in Montana, and they had, I think, skirmishes with the government and stuff too, or something. But basically, they just didn't want to pay taxes.
Yeah. I don't want to pay
Like
taxes.
they fought it out.
I don't remember how violent it got
Yeah,
at
I
that
don't
time.
think it was necessarily
I think
violent,
the
but they were
Ruby Ridge
protesting,
thing
kind of.
was something that had violence attached to it, but I don't really know if any major standoffs happened with the Freemen or not. But it was just a story I remember at that time.
Yeah, it's a fun story, I guess.
Well, this week I definitely wanted to go a little sillier than we have been for the last several weeks. So I basically just kind of scouted the internet for some good hypothetical questions.
I can roll with that.
So I got two that I found on there, and then one that I just kind of made up that I thought was good. So one of them, and I think this one's actually kind of easy after I thought about it for a while. But would you guys? Okay, you have to choose between these two options. You either shit your pants once a year in public, and it's just random. You don't know what's going to happen, but shit is going to fall out of your ass, and you're going to be in a public place. Or you shit your pants every day, but in private, so nobody knows about it. What do you choose?
I think I'd go with the once a year in public.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, I would definitely start wearing adult diapers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think because I wouldn't want to deal with it every single day.
Yeah,
I just
you
have
gotta
like a
have
little
pants.
backpack with some like toilet paper and a clean pair of undies in there. And I just fucking, wherever I was, I just drop trow, throw it away and fucking wipe. And yeah, 2 minutes later, I'm back down the road.
So we'd all pick the once in public shit.
Yeah, you don't want to be fucking shitting your pants every day.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the next one, and I'll probably word this one differently than how they put it online, just because of like people's personal taste and things. Basically, the way they worded it online was: would you rather fuck Megan Fox, but she has a penis, or Tom Hiddleston, but he has a vagina. But I'll basically word it as: would you rather fuck like your biggest like female crush, but she has a dick, or like some sort of like hunky guy, but he has a pussy?
But you're the top in either situation.
I guess so. Yeah. You can choose this any scenario you like.
I would have to go with Megan Fox, and I'd tape the bad boy away and make sure it doesn't touch me.
Well, it's funny because it's interesting because basically, no matter what scenario you choose, you're fucking somebody that has both, masculine and feminine features. But I'm thinking like you, I would choose the woman and just have her like keep the dick out of the way. Like even if you have to maybe do like some backdoor action from behind, as long as you're not having to touch it or anything like that, then that seems like the better option to me.
Yeah, it's not a good situation. I think I'd just go with like the vagina because that's like fucking an ugly chick instead of being a homo.
Well, actually, either option's kind of gay.
You're saying he's still a dude with a vagina? No, he's just an ugly chick, man.
Well, I guess that's kind of the existential question at the heart here. Does
the question for me is vagina or penis? That's the sex, right?
I guess from a totally biological sense, yes.
What if you had Megan Fox get the procedure, and then you could fuck her inside out dick?
Her used to be penis.
Oh, so you're choosing Megan Fox, but basically having her get the conversion.
The sex change, yeah.
I think that ruins the spirit of the question.
So then at that point, it's no question. Penis, vagina is
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
But but I still align more with AJ. I think I would take the woman, but have her, like tape the tape the dick out.
You can have that any day, man.
Yeah, but I'm not saying I want that. This is a best of the worst type.
I mean, we're living in a world today where, that's not out of the question.
Okay,
like you could have like a 3 or a 4, on the female spectrum, or you could have like a 9 or 10 trans lady. You could have Megan Fox or whoever. Twist your nipples.
Man, I gotta say, I really do feel sorry for, I have a lot of empathy for trans people because that's gotta be like a hard life to live. But I've always wondered, like, where do you think ethically a trans person should have to tell, somebody that they're trans? Like, let's say you spark up like a conversation with someone and you have no idea, it's like a trans woman, but you have no idea, like. My thing is, even though it probably sucks for them, I think they should tell you before they even kiss you, just because I think that's going to lead to, violence against them in a lot of cases.
I mean, probably dating, you want to get that out front, even though I know it's, it's difficult for a lot of trans people to be upfront about because, there's a big fall off there and they have a lot of trouble dating probably. But
let me ask you this. Let's say, okay, you're at a party or something, you strike up a conversation with a trans woman, and you have no idea it's a trans woman. It doesn't really have any masculine features, and like you're just best conversation of your life. You're hitting it off, and then end of the night comes and she's like, "Hey, I wouldn't mind going out with you, but just heads up, I am trans." Like, would you guys even consider still dating her? Or would it be a deal breaker? Because this is going to make me sound shitty, but I think it would be a deal for me. I just don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm like in a psychological space where I could take it on. Like, not no pun intended.
What about you?
Yeah, I don't think it would. Yeah, psychologically, I'd just be like thinking something else the whole time.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. And I know for a lot of people listening, that probably sounds shitty, but yeah, at this point, I don't think I could get past it in my brain.
Another weird thing, and I don't know if this is common for people, but I've worked with 3 or 4 trans people.
That seems like a lot, yeah.
But it was never like the Maury type where like you look at them and you're confused sexually. It was like, nah, I'm okay, I'm good.
That really brings me back to college, like when we were in Bozeman. Like me and my roommate that first year, we would watch Maury like every day, and like it was either the You're the Father type episodes,
Right.
or it was those episodes.
The father one really became his specialty.
And the key on the like trans episodes is if you can make a manly pun out of the person's name, that's how you know. Like if someone on there is named Amanda, they're gonna go like at the end they're gonna be like a man, duh, So that's how you can narrow some of them down.
Right. You put some thought in this name that your parents would not have, or you have an Adam's apple.
Okay, and then the hypothetical one that I just kind of made up is okay. You got to pick one of these scenarios. Either every time you come, it sounds like a air horn's going off. Like what do you call that? The canned air horn.
Yeah,
whatever.
it's an air horn.
So either every time you come, it sounds like an air horn's going off, or you can basically choose to be asexual. So you basically never have a sex drive ever again.
I mean, that one seems pretty obvious. Fuck the neighbors. You just do the air horn.
Yeah, but yeah, you're gonna have if you do it at home, you're gonna have the cops called on you constantly.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Oh, Johnny's having a good time again."
It's a medical condition. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
So you
get a note from your doctor.
So you would actually let your neighbors basically know that your condition, instead of like maybe like every weekend you
I wouldn't go advertise it. I'd just be like, "Wow."
But you would still do it at home rather than maybe like every weekend you drive up into the woods and crack one off.
Right. Where's the most appropriate place?
I don't know.
At a football game?
What quarter is this?
Camouflage.
What about you, AJ?
Yeah, I think I'd go with the air horn.
Yeah.
No, I
But
mean,
you would still do it at home and everything?
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't go out my way to.
Yeah, no, there's
You know what this is.
I mean, I might be like, apartment rules, like no noise after 10 or something. Be like, yeah, I'll just bust my nut before 10.
It'd be weird though if like neighbors are like, "Oh, that guy's really having a good day today."
Yeah.
That's like the third time.
Wait, his wife isn't home.
These went faster than I thought. I should have brought more of these.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to look up.
AJ, we'll swing it back around to you.
All right. Well, this is just a funny story. A pensioner, a retired person, unwittingly caused a massive traffic jam after driving his mobility scooter on a busy Spanish motorway. He was an 88-year-old man who wanted to take the fastest route home and ended up on the Julio Luengo Tunnel. Police escorted him out and decided not to charge him. So, I mean, how horrifying is that if you're an 88-year-old man on your little
Yeah.
scooter or whatever?
You're like, you're going for... and the cars are flying like...
Honking at you.
You're like...
Yeah.
Batteries fucking dying on you. Fucking having heart palpitations.
Yeah, it's horrifying. I mean, I get the people be angry, but for that guy, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, there's a story about our mom's stepdad, or did she find out his real dad? I don't know. There's some ambiguity in my mom's dad, whoever that was. But like he was probably 70s or something, and he was an alcoholic, and he got drunk and he lived across like a 4-lane highway, and he threw out his back, and somehow like he crawled across this highway, in the dark with his back out instead of calling for help or something. I mean, it's a horrifying story. That was like, I guess that was bad enough. That's when he quit drinking, right?
I actually didn't even know what story you were going to tell, and like now that you mentioned that, I kind of remember it, but I don't remember like all the details about it.
Yeah, I don't remember everything. That was the gist of it.
I think that would get me to stop.
Yeah, that's Jesus. That's terrible.
You got anything else?
Man,
I should have brought some more stuff.
Well, I've got some more questions. I might need a minute to look and do them. Here's a story. I was roommates with a guy in the Army. I don't know. I might have told you guys this story. He was from, I want to say New York, New Jersey, but he lived somewhere where they had like canals at the lakes and stuff. And so they would go swimming in these canals. And so one day, he's a kid, they pull up, and without looking, he goes and runs as fast as he can to be like the first one in the water. He jumps off this canal. He goes down without looking, and there's this rotten cow floating in the water. And not only does he hit it, he goes all the way through it.
Oh boy, that's disgusting. So he got cow guts in his mouth and everything.
I don't know, but how do you fucking recover?
Oh.
Like,
No, I don't think you ever told me that story. I think I would remember that one.
I'm not positive. But I think, like you said, he never was swimming there again. Which I mean, I can't blame him. You know, it's fucking awful.
I mean, what are the chances? You jump off a canal and then boom, right into
and not only is it like down there rotting, you hit it, but also that it's so like soft and disgusting that you just keep on going.
yeah. Oh,
Like,
boy.
can you imagine if you got like stuck in the middle of that thing or something?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking gross.
I just see him like popping up to the surface and like blowing a bunch of blood out of his mouth.
And big old bile guts and shit.
Oh.
There's another swimming story. Another guy in the army, actually. But he'd never been in the ocean. And like he was resisting. And someone's like pressuring into it. And so resisting. They finally get him to go snorkeling with them. He gets in there. He's snorkeling. He's swimming around. He's having a good time. And then like out of nowhere, like a 6-foot shark swims up from behind him, like right past his side. And so like he said, he got out of the water and he's never been back in the ocean.
Yeah. I've never really swam in the ocean, but I'd be afraid to, not mainly for the sharks, but just because like currents and undertow and stuff like that.
I'm just afraid of like the ocean in general. Like,
Yeah.
It's a large body of water. I don't know what's in it. It's just it's scary.
Yeah, anytime, like even like in like a body of water where you know it's not dangerous, but you know the water's above your head and you like feel something touch your foot
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh god, you know,
Yeah.
you like crap your pants a little bit.
Yeah, it's always kind of like a creepy feeling.
Yeah, but I mean, I would like to like learn to scuba dive and go out and do some of the coral reefs or something like that. I feel like that'd be pretty interesting.
I don't know. Scuba sounds freaky to me.
Yeah.
Too. I wouldn't want to be in the ocean. I think there's too much stuff there.
I mean, there is stuff there, but at the same time, I feel like I can write it off well enough to deal with it. The only thing I wonder about is like how much pressure there's got to be. Like, I feel like I might not cope with that very well.
Well, that's a big thing with scuba, right? Is like you have to be careful that you don't like go down or come up too soon.
Right, you can't go down too deep. Like, you're probably going to know that when you're down there, I'm guessing. But also, yeah, you can't come up too fast because then the nitrogen in your blood will express and become bubbles, and then you get the bends, and apparently that's really horrible.
Yeah. That's my understanding as well. Man, I read this story today, and I wish I had my iPad because I had it on there. But it was basically, there's this Facebook group, I guess, that's existed for a while. It's basically these men that post pictures of them pointing guns at their junk. Like, I don't know why. That's just the Facebook group, was like men that point guns at their penis.
Yeah, this is Darwin Award territory.
Well, that's kind of where it's going.
Oh, okay.
Let's hear it.
This guy, of course, shot a round right through his ball, like right. Like, I guess he said at first he thought he just like grazed the sack or something, but then no, he shot his ball. And yeah, I wish I had the actual article in front of me because
Yeah, it seems like everybody else in the group should be like reevaluating their life choices at that point. Like, yeah, you know what? This could happen. But the thing is, everyone's like, oh, no, I got my safety on. I'm not worried.
I mean, did it have to be loaded?
That's another thing. Like,
probably not.
you could just unload and be like, yeah. But that's a lot of thing about people who shoot themselves, too. They're like, it's not loaded. And then they fucking shoot themselves.
Dum-dums.
Actually, that happened to that guy on the Tiger King.
That's what happened to him?
What? Not the Tiger King. Like his lover.
Oh.
Like he was fucking around with somebody and they're like, don't point that gun at me. Don't point that gun at me. And he's like, he put it to his head. He's like, it's not loaded, see? And then fucking blew his head off.
I heard the air pressure itself can kill you, too.
On like with a blank round, it can, yeah. Yeah, they think they have blanks and they're still very dangerous.
So I actually found the article here. I'll read some of it. A guy who shot himself in the balls posted his journey from discharge to hospital visit, and it's made him a king online. Back in May...
You got to monetize that kind of thing.
And this is from Vice News. Back in May, we wrote about a group of gun enthusiasts who love taking pictures of loaded weapons pointed at their dicks. On a long enough timeline, one of them was inevitably going to accidentally discharge their weapon, and on Tuesday, that appears to be exactly what happened to one member in the San Diego area. A member of a Facebook group dedicated to taking pictures of loaded weapons pointed at dicks finally shot himself in the balls, according to bloody pictures and video he posted on social media and the Imperial County Sheriff's Office, which confirmed the incident to Motherboard. Rather than step back and start questioning whether the practice is wise, the group made him...
I like where this is going.
Okay.
The group made him an administrator and are now celebrating him as their king.
Oh my gosh.
On August 11th, a member of the group loaded guns pointed at, and this is weird because instead of saying penis, it has like in brackets the letter B.
Maybe we should look up the pictures.
And then Enos, so it says loaded gun pointed at penis.
Oh, so that's balls and penis.
Oh, okay. I've never heard that. Posted a video of himself pointing a loaded 1911 handgun at his junk. There's a brief pause before the gun discharges. The original video of the man shooting himself in the balls and subsequent thread has been deleted, but members of the group captured the video in aftermath and re-uploaded it. Hey boys, I might have fucked up. The man who shot himself in the balls wrote above a picture of his naked legs and splattered blood on the carpet of his floor. A towel is stuffed between his legs, and a printed out copy of the Constitution is crumpled on the edges of the photo.
Now I'm starting to wonder if this story is true.
The guy posted through the incident as he bled. God's caliber 45 went through my scrotum, mattress, box spring, and floor, he wrote. Originally, the man thought he just grazed his balls, but a subsequent hospital visit told a different story.
I have another Darwin story, which I've read a number of these Darwin stories. I don't remember them, but this one stuck with me. So this guy's driving his truck out in the woods, right? And his truck dies, and he's trying to figure out what's wrong. And it turns out he burned a fuse, right? And so he doesn't have a fuse, but he figures out that a 22 caliber bullet fits exactly in the fuse spot.
Oh, I've heard this one, yeah.
And it works, right? And so like he's going along, and then this fuse, this 22 bullet, goes off and shoots him right in the crotch.
I mean,
he should have turned it the other way at least, right?
I mean, he was probably thinking like, "Oh man, I'm gonna tell people how I'm MacGyver." Like,
right, and probably like for the first 5 minutes until it got like hot. He was like the genius of the century, right? It's like I could survive anywhere on this planet right now.
Man versus wild.
man, I don't really have anything. This is actually a topic I should have had us prepare something for, but I thought it was so weird. I read a story that like they're doing some sort of like reboot of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but they're like going to turn it into like more of a drama.
Yeah.
And I thought, like that, I don't know. It sounds silly to me, but like
a soap opera, like melodrama.
I don't know if it's like a soap opera, but you know, definitely like more
Riverdale
drama than comedy.
Oh, so like teenage romance.
I should have done like a.
Well, no, just the fact that like Riverdale is a drama based on Archie. It's like, you know, more dramatized version.
Okay, I thought Archie was like a teenage romance. I haven't watched it, just so you know. I don't want anyone to think poorly of me.
I've not watched Riverdale just because I never really read the Archie comics, so I'm not super familiar with them anyway. So I don't know if they're comedic in tone. I think they're comedic. They are. Like, wonder if there's like other comedies that they could make dramas out of it.
I'm not excited about that. A dramatic Fresh Prince, like the whole point of it.
Yeah, it seems very odd. I did love that show growing up, though. I watched it all the time.
Yeah, it's one of the shows everybody watched it.
And Will Smith is involved with this project too.
Yeah, I think it said he was like the executive producer, something like that. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of strange. Did you see like that? How like Will Smith and his wife they have like some sort of weird like open marriage thing where like she's admitting like she was fucking some other guy or something.
Like much younger guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't really know anything except for like the memes that were popping up with him like crying, and everyone's like, "Yeah, he's like a broken man about this shit." I'm like, "Oh." Uh-huh.
I don't think it's a big deal at all. Like, they have an open marriage. He probably gets, to do whatever he wants with women and stuff. So why is that? I heard 50 Cent like went after him and called him something because like his wife was cheating with other guys. But I was like
a cuck or something.
yeah, I was like, why? If he's sleeping with women, why is that a thing? Why does that matter?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they were kind of half broken up when it happened. So, I mean, that shit happens. I don't know. If you want to be in an open relationship, knock it out, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things I wasn't sure if like they actually established the open relationship rules or if that was something that was sprung on him.
Oh, yeah. It's like, we cheated and now we're in an open relationship. And he's like, whoa.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, that maybe that's what happened is they like both found out they cheated on each other and they were like, open relationship? Okay.
Did he cheat on her as well? Because
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing I heard was her cheating on him.
Yeah, I mean, if it's an open relationship, if it really was one, then he probably was, right? Like, that's what you would assume, but...
I mean, I'm sure he could. I mean, he's good looking. He has a lot of heat.
Yeah.
I think some people have speculated that maybe he's done some gay business, but I have no idea if that's true or not.
Yeah, I mean, probably anybody with any amount of fame, someone's been like, he was a homo.
Yeah.
That's true because like there are a lot of celebrities or people.
Yeah. I've heard that about Tom Selleck. Who believes that?
That one's actually true.
Sure it is.
Well,
With a mustache like that.
well, what's funny is because we watched that Tom Segura's
Right, I
podcast
think
a
that's
lot.
where I heard it, yeah.
And that RPC guy, he claimed that in the 80s, like him and Tom Selleck had like some like leathery like S&M type sex.
Right.
But then I want to say I seen an article online that not too long ago. I didn't actually read it, but it said like Tom Selleck and his partner are very happy today, and it showed a picture of him with like this older man. And so I'm like, well, maybe that is true. Maybe he is gay. I don't know.
Well, I think I saw that same thing, and when I clicked on it, it was talking about his like girlfriend or something. I was like, this is misleading.
Oh, so they
wow.
purposely misled. Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't remember things well.
People always, I hear people say the same thing about Tom Cruise, but that's probably more of just like being jealous of him and things like that. And like, oh, he's probably gay.
I mean, he's a little more believable because of the feminism, but I think you never really know, without like the tape or something coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, until he actually says it himself. I tend not to
you
believe
gotta
it.
have some.
It is kind of amazing though, like famous people that you don't know everything about, that you find stuff like that out and you're like, wow, they actually managed to keep it a secret. Especially in like old Hollywood too, they were even more
Well,
about
yeah,
back
where
then.
it could ruin your career. You can understand being very quiet about some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays people are pretty accepting. I think it's probably easier for the people who do come out than trying to put it away.
Yeah. Yeah, I think today for celebrities, it's got to be a lot easier than it was previously,
Yeah.
And I don't think these days it's going to cost them as much career-wise.
No, you can be anything. I mean, now I don't think there's any issue with that. Really, does anybody?
No, I
Well,
don't think so.
have there ever been like a high-profile case of like an openly gay like male actor in a role where he is like straight?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there have been gay guys who did straight guys.
But when they're openly, like after they're already out and about.
Yeah, I mean, Neil Patrick Harris played a straight guy on
Yeah.
for
Oh, did he? Okay. I never really watched.
I didn't watch it either, but yeah, that one's pretty one.
Okay. So there is examples of it, I guess. All right. You got any more topics for us?
Oh, yeah. All right, so a woman catches Amazon driver mid-squat in her garden. So you're not the only one with a shit topic. I got one, too.
This isn't the first time this has happened with someone pooping in a yard in Amazon.
I mean, I guess Amazon's pretty hard on their drivers.
Well, right, because they have like their quotas or what. So they're like, they don't have any time to waste. They're like, I guess I'll shit on this garden. I'm only making $3 an hour drop. I got to take care of this.
I feel sorry for the driver. Sharon Smith, 53, said she was cooking in her kitchen when a van pulled up outside her home. A man ran from the vehicle towards her garden, and she followed him, suspecting that he was stealing some wood. But the mother of two caught the man mid-squat defecating on her property among the trees and promptly called the police. Sharon said he even asked what her problem was and got aggressive as he tried to leave. She said, "I asked, what the heck are you doing? pooing, and he just remained pooing whilst asking me what my problem was.
Yeah, I mean, if you see someone taking a shit, like, is confrontation really your go-to move?
Yeah,
it's not
no.
mine. I'm like, oh, you're shitting. I guess I'm gonna be leaving now.
Yeah.
He should have been like, "What can Brown do for you?"
From A to poo.
I mean, I wouldn't confront the guy. I would afterwards be like, "Never do that again, please." But,
Yeah,
you know.
I might like passive aggressively go put in a complaint against that person. But yeah, no, it's like you're in it, you're taking care of it. Like, yeah, it's too late. I'm just gonna walk away.
He should have been like, "This is how you get things in 2 days."
Did you think it was fucking magic? Santa's fucking workshop?
No, it involves us shitting on people's lawns. Maybe that guy should take like the seat out of his delivery truck and just put one of those like
Fucking
luggable
straight down.
loos. Yeah.
Or yeah, you could have one of those like camp buckets. You could just shit it and fucking throw it out the window. Fucking poop in a bag and tie it like a dog and
Or just have a hole that goes through the floor of the truck and it just spills out.
yeah, just be like,
That's
this is
the best option
Amazon.
right there. Yeah.
I always thought that would be hilarious because, like, we used to have a motorhome and, you know, we take shits on there sometimes, but I just always thought it'd be funny if it just flushed right onto the street.
Yeah, just let it go, man. Fucking people telling you how to live your life, where to dump your shit at. I don't know, man.
So she kept him there till her husband and the police arrived, and he didn't get arrested because he cleaned up his mess. And Amazon was notified of what happened. He went on to deliver another package to her neighbors that he might have gotten excrement on from his hands. Amazon said the driver will no longer be delivering for him. I feel bad for the guy. He was trying to do his job.
No, he's not going to be delivering because he got a promotion.
That's some
He's
real
like-
work ethic.
Yeah, you look at the work ethic on this guy.
Like, this is manager material here.
Straight management material.
You guys
yeah.
could learn something from him.
But yeah, I seen a video about like, you know, the Amazon workers that work in the warehouse too, and like apparently like I think they have a pretty high turnover rate just because like you know, they get yelled at if they don't make their quota, and like it's a lot of work. Like I think they walk like a lot of miles every day, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our cousin worked there for like 2 days and was like, fuck it. Yeah, it's just not worth it. It's yeah, I don't know. Like you see the Amazon signs advertising by the highways, like, oh, we pay $17 an hour starting and stuff. And the thing is, any company you see advertising like that, it's because they have a high turnover because they treat people like shit and it's not worth it.
Yeah, I know that that department store that me and you worked at, they definitely had a high turnover rate. And like after I started doing taxes back home, like I would have several people that had a paycheck from them that was like, you know, a day.
Yeah, we made $500 and
Yeah.
quit.
Yeah, exactly, because it was horrible to work there.
No, I could definitely see that. I know they have a terrible turnover.
Let's see, you got any good ones over there?
I was trying to go through some of these.
Or are these like more hypotheticals?
It's more hypothetical stuff, just random. If you could go back in time, what's one piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Honestly, just exercise more because you know, I was fat like for so long, and like if I could go back and be like, just put in the work, like, you know, eat a little better, run a little better every day, you know, and keep yourself in shape. That would be my biggest one.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hear a lot of people who are a little older, like, they express regret about not keeping up with their body, basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you think that would have significantly like altered the course of your life? Because you're in pretty good shape now. You know?
I mean,
Making the change seems like the kind of the big.
I think it would have actually, because I think I would have had, you know, at least registered some self-esteem growing up, and you know, maybe even would have been viable to maybe find a date in high school or something and not feel quite so lonely and shitty.
I mean, I didn't date till I was quite a bit older either, and I was pretty hung up on it. And now that you know, after I've been married and stuff, I'm not as hung up on it anymore. But I mean, you're still definitely dating age, like, and I think you're definitely in that area. Maybe you should just have you considered like seeing a psychologist or anything? I mean, that's a pretty personal question because it kind of depends what culture you come from. Because some people find that not acceptable to see a psychologist.
No, psychiatry is one of those things where, like, I don't doubt that it works for a lot of people. It's one of those things I never thought I'd respond to positively, and it really doesn't. It has never interested me at all.
I mean, I'm talking because I've been. I don't know if you've been, LJ.
Yeah, I have.
But also, like, you went through a period where everybody wanted you to go, and you were kind of resistive to it.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of times we're resistive to it, and I'm not seeing anyone right now, but I've seen people a couple times. And kind of I'm thinking about possibly seeing someone again, or maybe, like, I feel psychologically okay, but I feel like I could be doing more with my life. So maybe I'm considering, like, maybe a life coach or something. I don't know if either of you thought about that.
No. I've always thought that's kind of this is very cynical, but I've always thought life coach is kind of a fake job.
Well, the thing is, I think some people are much better at it than others. And so maybe you have to be a little bit careful. But I also think there's a lot of benefit because I always feel like there's like a mountain of stuff I'm very stupid about. And I'm thinking about it again. I feel like my social skills are pretty bad. I don't know if what do you guys think about my social skills?
I mean, we're close to you, so it feels like you're pretty open with us.
Well, it's hard, because exactly, we've never seen you in the wild, like trying to talk.
And generally, most people I think are very different with their like inner circle than they are with the public. And so, like, again, like when I'm comfortable with people, I feel pretty open and stuff. And I feel like I'm more, what do they call it when you're kind of like in touch with like your own like, thought process and stuff. Mindfulness. Like I feel more mindful. Like I can catch when I'm getting depressed, or I'm kind of a little more in tune with how I'm feeling. But I also think like there's huge gaps in some of my skills in that department that maybe someone could help me with. I don't know. You guys ever feel that way?
Yeah, I definitely feel that way. But I never thought of a life coach. That's interesting.
I mean, I think it's kind of like they're separate, but I think they're kind of intertwined at the same time. But I mean, like me and Zach were definitely raised where psychology was something that was looked down on. Like it's definitely, we were raised like it was a negative thing. Like you were crazy, or there was something wrong with you if you needed this, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things that was almost non-existent, where you didn't, because like, yeah, mom and dad were never people that, they didn't really talk about it. It's not like I put like a shame into us. I don't think about the concept of it, but it was just.
I feel like I had that.
Oh, maybe did you? I don't know. It was just, but yeah, I think it's just like dad. He's such like a tough guy that, I could never picture him signing up for something like that.
Yeah, I can't. Like, I probably wouldn't think either of our parents would be likely to do that. But also at the same time, our mom came from a fairly abusive household, and I think, potentially she could have definitely benefited from something like that.
Oh, I think a lot of people could. But I still am of the mind that I don't think it's for everybody. And I guess I can't say for sure I wouldn't respond to it well, not trying it. But
at the end of the day, it's, well, if you look at it this way, say you've had a problem like your entire life, right? Well, you obviously have like habits and like predilections that are enabling this. Like it's continuing to cause you problems, but somehow you're still not figuring it out. That's essentially what that person is there for. They're like, you go in and they're like, they try to figure out what's causing this particular problem for you that you keep coming up against, that you keep having problem, you keep having psychological pain about this, but somehow you're still not solving it yourself. And to somehow give you strategies and ideas and maybe some insight as to why that's happening to kind of help you get over some of those hurdles you're having.
Yeah. Again, it's like, but the other thing is like, I don't think all problems are fixable. You just kind of deal with them the best you can.
No, you're right about that. But I think that what Lester's talking about is good, though. There are tools that you can use to like adapt to different situations.
Right. There's tools you don't have in your toolbox that they can help put in place, basically.
Yeah. So you're more prepared for life. You can handle more situations.
So do you feel like the therapy you did help you out?
I was very, resistant. So I went to therapy for a little while. I mostly saw psychiatrists after that. But the therapy was good. It was helpful in the sense that you get something out. Somebody listens to you. Somebody validates. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
And with psychiatrists, my experience has been that they listen to you. They do all that, but they give you medication. So at the end of the day, they help you with whatever imbalances you might have in your body.
That's another thing is chemical imbalance, because you've had issues with that.
Yeah.
And you've also had like prescriptions that helped you, and you also had prescriptions that caused you a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And so it's like kind of working with someone long enough that you can kind of iron out what those issues are or what the medication's causing, and trying to get the proper medication and figuring out the right balance there that works for you. And then also like sometimes you can take a medication too, and I think it's just kind of covering up a problem. And I think I did that for a while because I took Wellbutrin, which helped my depression for a while. And I think also kind of you might not be dealing with something. So there's a little bit of both, I think. And I think natural chemical imbalance can also be a very serious thing. So working with someone who can help you kind of find your way through that maze, I think is very helpful.
Yeah.
So what's the technical difference between a psychiatrist and a therapist? Because I've always just kind of lumped them together. As a psychiatrist, they know like the brain chemistry stuff as well.
Well, I kind of forget. There's like psychology and there's
Psychiatry, psychology.
Right. So there's one that's like trained and has a degree and one that doesn't.
Oh,
so you can be like a therapist without a degree, but if you want to say I'm a psychologist, you're saying I've gone to college, I've gotten a degree, you know. And
the psychiatrist can assign medications.
Right. And the therapist can't give you medication. So it kind of depends where you're at, and it depends on the skill level of the person you're working with.
So what would your guys' answer to the time machine question be?
What's the time?
What would advice?
I think there's multiple time.
Well, what advice would you give your younger self?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I think, gosh, there's a lot of questions to that. But I think one of my biggest things, if I went back again, I would try to obsess about one field of study, which isn't really psychologically related. It's a question of mastery, I think. And right now I've been studying a lot of programming. But I think find out where your skill levels lie and really lean into that, I think is a good piece of advice.
Yeah, that's one I wonder about too, because like what I tell myself to, because I don't know about you, but I even though I did good in school, I never enjoyed school.
And I love school of every type.
But when I got out of high school, like I very much felt like the guy in Office Space where like, a lot of people seemingly knew what they wanted to be. And I was just like, I didn't feel like anything sounded very good. And so I was just like, well, I'm good at math. I guess I'll get an accounting degree. And so that's what I did. But then years later, like not really ever taking full use of that degree, I'm like, well, would I tell myself, do this instead? But I'm still at the point where like, I don't know what I would tell my younger self still.
I mean, is there a certain skill set you feel you're good at that you enjoy, like you could sit in or push you into deeper?
I mean, the only thing I could tell my younger self is like, hey, start reading comic books. You're going to like them. And maybe go for some sort of learning to write, type classes.
So, I mean, there's still time for that. I mean, if you feel like writing, do you think you could push into writing and like maybe in 10 years be a master writer? Do you think you could write comic books?
My thing is, I definitely want to, before I die, publish a comic book. And I actually have some scripts I've finished, but I got to learn, find somebody I can afford to do artwork and learn that side of everything too. I don't think I could ever be proficient enough to have my sole income be from something like that.
I mean, why do you think that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just seems a big hill to climb.
I mean, it is a hill to climb, but what if it took you 10 years to master it? I mean, you have to think something like this takes a long time.
That's the thing. And you say you think it'd be possible to get there in 10 years. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, I think you can publish something people like before then. I mean, to be very polished, I think it takes a lot of time.
My thing is, and not just necessarily writing, like that's something I definitely want to do is get a comic book published. But I just want to, I would like to make a living being creative, even if it was like, doing podcasts successfully or maybe YouTube stuff. I like to be creative. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in a cubicle, but I do understand that, it's hard to not, compromise in that way or something.
I mean, I don't know. I'm debating that very much now. I'm definitely like in my midlife crisis phase.
I think I am too.
Yeah, I feel like that.
I mean, I've thought that I've had it before and I'm having it again, but I'm definitely leaning into a few things and I'm just kind of exploring how other people are dealing with that. I mean, so Ajay, we didn't really talk. Is there something you feel like you haven't leaned into that you might be interested in leaning into?
This podcast, really, I'm glad we're doing it. This is something that I'm glad I'm leaning into this. But anything else, there's so many things that I feel like I'm torn in every direction.
Yeah. I have like a million interests and I've read about everything and I've done a little bit of everything. And I'm always like, I'm torn with that. If I do this thing, then I'm probably going to be laying down this thing. And I think I'm ready to do that to some extent. It's just, I've always wished that I could do everything.
Yeah.
But I definitely think this podcast, what I like about this is I feel like I'm in production mode. I'm doing something productive. I'm making something. I'm building something. There's room for improvement. There's room for being better. There's room for imagination. There's room for something, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And I really like that element. I think I've been having fun doing it.
Yeah, we're never doing the same thing twice. We can have new conversations.
Yeah, it's new conversations. Maybe it's a new format or a new testing, and it's new ideas, and you're just kind of trying to figure out what works. And we don't have the audience yet to say like maybe what's working for them, and kind of exploring that. But
that's the hard part, is without having an audience, it's like you don't have the criticism where you're like, oh, we're doing this wrong, we're doing this right.
Right. And at some point that'll start coming in. And
Hopefully.
I think with like a growth mindset, you can say, oh, you can look at it and be like, people are kind of like leaning in this direction. And you say, maybe, we can build something more entertaining or more interesting if we kind of move that way. And it'll kind of build out in its own kind of organic way after that, when you can kind of start to see what people like, what they don't like. I do definitely find that part interesting.
I will say, if like magically tomorrow, like the world changes, it's like, oh, we're all invincible now, we're going to live forever. Like I would instantly like start putting all my effort into learning new things. Like I would even like maybe enroll in a film school or something, learn film production and just, maybe learn instrument or something. But like when we have limited lifespans, you kind of gotta pick and choose.
Yeah, but it also in that kind of thought process is easy to not appreciate how very little time we have and not like get synced into something. I think it's better to pick something. And I think the idea of like comics or film is definitely something we could progress towards. And I'm really thinking hard about, we should shift eventually to doing YouTube and videos and kind of start appreciating the elements that go into that, like lighting or production values or sound, and have a natural progression into that way, which I also think is the larger audience.
Yeah. By the way, anyone listening to this, we are uploading the audio versions of these to YouTube if you're somebody that likes to listen to podcasts on YouTube. And yeah, maybe one day if we get an audience, we can expand to doing a video version of the podcast. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, for right now, they will start going up on YouTube. So if you'd prefer to listen to YouTube, that is an option.
Yeah. So I wanted to answer that question too. What would I do if I went back in time?
Yeah.
I would, like we talked about earlier, I would try to get myself mental health at a young age.
I think that it probably is a big difference. And I've actually been wondering if maybe I should consider that for my own kids, and whether they should be with someone who can help them build their social skills at a young age, because I definitely didn't have that. I definitely didn't get it from my parents. I definitely had a lot of kind of social issues. And also part of that's not necessarily their fault, but it's more related to my personality type, which is pretty introverted. And I think I read people in kind of weird ways maybe. So I do think that getting outside perspectives is very helpful in a lot of things. And I think maybe I would have done more younger, or maybe because the first time I saw somebody was maybe I was in college, so maybe I was 21, pretty young. And I saw someone for a while and I stopped. But I think definitely having guidance is a big helper, because you don't really realize what maybe you're bad at as well. So we all have blind spots, and just having someone help us figure out what those are and how maybe strategies to get past those, I think it is pretty important.
You were bringing up how you feel like you're an introverted person, and like I've always suffered from really severe social anxiety, so I've always been also very introverted. But it's weird because like if you look at our family, Dad, very extroverted person, very talkative person, and our sister, same way, very extroverted, talks to everybody. Don't you find it weird that the three of us grew up in basically the same environment, but we turned out very introverted, and she the opposite?
I have thought that before, but I've also thought with my own kids, like I was surprised being raised by the same two parents, that they have exceptionally different personality. And I started thinking maybe our personality isn't as related to, the nurture as it is to the nature. Like we come out, we're programmed in certain ways, and we have one child. Well, I have one child who's, fairly to himself. He can live in his own world. He's out like that. And the other one is almost very social. He has very good instincts socially. He connects with people much more naturally. And it's very different. And I don't think it's necessarily related to the parents. And like you said, even though our mom is maybe fairly introverted, and the interesting thing about our dad is that like all our lives, he's like, I wish I could have just been a hermit. I could be a hermit and live by myself and not do anything. And at the same time, he's a very, very social person.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he has like some kind of disconnect there that I don't really understand, because he's maybe the most natural storyteller that I've ever met or seen. Like nobody tells a story like he does. And he has a very natural instinct in retelling his stories, but also he has this very brilliant tendency to adjust his stories. Like he's not attached to the truth. He's he wants to make this the best story that he can.
Yeah, he very much exaggerates.
Right. So the story changes over time, but he tells a very compelling story. He's a very natural storyteller. And I think that's a pretty amazing gift of his.
Yeah, like if you go to a family reunion of ours, like everybody loves being around my dad because you're going to be entertained.
Yeah, he's an entertainer.
Yes.
And like I don't think he has any knowledge or acknowledgement of that, but definitely very interesting. I think I've learned a lot about storytelling from him, actually.
You know what's also true about him that couldn't be any more different from me is like he's one of these people that kind of says he wished he was born like 100 years earlier,
right,
like in the 1800s. And I honestly believe it, because he's very much a guy who loves the simple pleasures in life. He's a guy who can just like sit out on the front porch and just be entertained like for hours, just like watching the weather or whatever, and the trees and the grass and everything. And like I'm the exact opposite. Like I always need some sort of like input. Like I'm always like reading something or watching something, or else my brain like is like, you're bored. You need something in there constantly, you know. And I wish I wasn't quite that way, but to a large extent I am.
Yeah, I kind of parallel you guys. Like my mom, she's always been the extrovert. My dad's been more of an introvert. Me and my sister both take after my dad. We're both and like when it comes to the simple pleasures, I have a hard time, enjoying those kinds of things. When people say like, "Oh, this nature, it's so beautiful," yeah, for a second it's cool to me, but after that I can't appreciate it as much. I have to go back to my phone. I don't know if I'm just hooked on my phone this whole time, if that's what it is, like just because it's a phone and everybody's like that, or if I'm, just like I have this ADHD or something, and I just have to have something entertaining in front of me all the time.
I mean, this is a huge conversation with the phones, because I'm addicted to my phone, and simultaneously I hate that. I'm both of those worlds you're talking about. Yeah. Like I love nature and stuff, but right now, it gives you so much dopamine. It's so tuned into what we are as animals and our our programming, and it's so easy to get caught up in that. And more I'm like, I need to lay this down. It's interfering with everything, and it takes away from your ability to appreciate the other things in life, like nature and stuff, because nature doesn't have that, that dopamine release every 2 seconds, every 3 seconds. And so that's how people get so addicted to it. And I mean, I can't criticize because I have the same thing. And sometimes I lay it down and I'm like, I can't be on social media for a while. I'm getting depressed, or I'm getting, it's just eating up all my time, or different things, and I lay it down.
Yeah, I think there's a balance, but I've always kind of hated the other extreme, which is, people that are, very much just like the simple pleasures in life, like the people who maybe call the TV the idiot box, which I understand, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of, great, programming and things that really, movies and TV that have enriched my life, that have made me a better thinker, and have impacted my life in a very positive way. And like same with video games, like a lot of the older generation, like really kind of shit on video games, just think they're a total waste of time. But like a lot of them actually are good for your brain and your reflexes. And again, I think a lot of them they're pieces of art that have really like enriched my life at points. So like, I think I don't like that too harsh going the other way as well, that some people do.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I was raised by TV. I watched it growing up completely, for hours and hours every day, and it did teach me a lot, how to communicate, what's normal, stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, I learned a lot from TV.
So, do you think you would have learned more not watching TV, or you would learn?
Well, for me, because my parents were from India, their culture was completely different. They didn't really teach us much about the American culture, I felt like.
Right, and I feel that's an interesting topic. Like, so you're growing up, and your parents have a very different kind of like moral sense. Mm-hmm. They have a different set of values, different culture growing, and you kind of have to contend with. You have one culture in school, you have one culture at home, and trying to bring those together has to be pretty confusing, I think.
Oh, very. We were torn between two worlds. We had identity crisis. I did, for sure. I had an identity crisis. And when it just came to, like, the rules of life, like my parents would say one thing, people at school would say another. And I would use TV as a way of trying to figure out, like, what's normal? What do people do?
Right.
So, I mean,
But I mean, the TV has to be pretty skewed to American.
Yeah, definitely. It was. But I mean, I lived in America, so I took it as gospel.
Right. So that's like, on the whole, you have to kind of shift to this perspective.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could definitely see that being a crisis within families. So if I'm being rude, we can stop. But I kind of see your mom as being this kind of narcissistic personality. And, I don't know if that's fair, but reading about it, I felt like she fit some of the dynamics. Like Roman was kind of always the shit kid, and you were like the golden child, how that affects kids and stuff, and a number of different things, like kind of the victim personality. Like, I don't know if you feel that. Roman definitely felt where she'd kind of project a victim. And
yeah. With me, I would say at home I had a pretty good life. Everybody was nice to me. I didn't really have any victim mentality at home.
Okay. What about Roman's relationship with your mom? How do you... Because I know how it is now, but I don't know how it developed or...
Roman was kind of my mom was harder on her.
And do you think that it was just because she was older, or a girl? Because I know girls play a lot into Indian
older
culture.
And a girl.
You think
both? I think, my mom, the way she was raised, like, they were always like, women have to be a certain way, they have to maintain themselves a certain way.
Right, very Indian culture. But also she was, she has an interesting backstory because she has one dad and two moms.
Yeah.
And because the first mom was, basically she couldn't have kids, like he was allowed to have a second wife.
Yeah.
But then the first mom actually took Roman in more as a grandmother. And the second one was more abusive and had a lot more difficulties there.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with my mom. Like, the first mom was actually nicer to them as kids. Like, she took more care of them.
Right, I think I was talking about mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the second one, I mean, they were close, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
But, that definitely affected the way she was raised, for sure.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely tough, like, separating, like, how many layers of effects this is like one person who's abusive, like the next person has issues and the next person has issues. And like how many layers do you have to go down before people start getting past that,
Yeah, I don't get me wrong, I love my mom, but she definitely, I'm sure that her childhood has made some sort of impact on her.
Yeah.
And, that's affected my sister too. And it's affected me too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I wonder how far this does go. Roman, so my sister, her name is Roman, she does a good job of changing the trend. She tries hard to like not repeat or do anything that has been done to her in the past. So she actually goes the opposite direction.
Right, which is also common. Is like you say, this happened to me. I'm gonna go the extra mile to make sure this doesn't happen to my kids. Like you're very obsessed about trying to do a better job than your parents, but somehow like there's almost an inevitability that you're gonna fuck something up because it's very complicated and you're confused and you have your own emotions, you have your own problem, and I mean, as a parent, that's a very, there's so many minefields that you're walking with that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder too, like, is doing the opposite of what your parents did, is that the right thing to do, or like is a little bit of what they did good? You don't know.
Because at the same time, like, even if your parents messed up, if they did so many things wrong, you love them so much.
Yeah,
you love them so much, and even if you're a bag of shit, if you're an asshole, like, you love them and you respect them, and even if you don't, like, you have a tendency to recreate those same situations, even if you don't want to, even if you're not thinking about it, maybe especially because you're not thinking about it. And it's so tricky. It's so tricky having kids, but at the same time, it's so great.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's almost like you can't have enough experience or knowledge or anything to cope with this particular situation of being a parent.
You kind of mentioned how your sister like almost goes out of her way to kind of be the opposite of how your mom was with her, or like, or at least be aware of that. I think to an extent mom was probably like that with us because her childhood was kind of very erratic and chaotic. And so,
absolutely.
I think that's why she is so, kind of.
She's almost Victorian, like very, very moral, very kind of, I almost want to say judgmental, but at the same time, very, very caring, very understanding, very.
Well, like her mom both of her parents had alcohol problems, so like she doesn't drink at all.
Oh yeah, she's very morally against alcohol. Definitely those kind of things.
Like she would come off to a lot of people as like puritanical almost, but not in like never in like a shitty sense. Like
very strong morals in one sense, but also very giving, very kind of I think very giving in many senses.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can't complain. I love my mom. She's great.
Yeah.
Same here.
All right. Any other topics either of you guys brought?
What kind of time are we at? I don't know.
We're actually doing pretty good. We're like an hour 20.
Oh, that's pretty good. I kind of wanted to pull up some like fucked up lyrics like you were talking about at the beginning, like the wet pussy or whatever.
Wet ass pussy.
And then just have one of us read it.
I thought about doing that in like the Charlton Heston one.
So okay, let's just do it. Let's what was the song?
I don't know if it's actually called Wet Ass Pussy. I think it might be like WAP is what I see everywhere. This is how out of it I am. I don't,
Oh, my phone just died. Bring up like a fucked up song. I want to read the lyrics to it. Whoever gets there first.
Well, I'm not a music expert, so
right. Jay's listened to a little rap. He probably knows something fucked up that a white person shouldn't be reading.
Just
I'm gonna look up Wet Ass.
maybe say
I know what you want to say.
Yeah,
no N word.
Maybe substitute big word.
But yeah, no. I don't. We'll see. We'll see what he. If it has the N word, I'm just gonna fucking be a racist.
No, here's Wet Ass Pussy.
Okay.
This is so stupid.
Like, how much should I do? Maybe there's too much. We'll see. Intro: Cardi B, Al T. McLaren, and Megan Thee Stallion. Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. Hold up. Wet ass pussy, make that pull-up game weak. Woo! Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you fucking some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop, cause this wet ass pussy give me everything you got for this wet ass pussy. Extra large and extra hard. Put this pussy right in your face, swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna die, I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eye, this pussy is wet, come take a dive. Tie me up like I'm surprised, let's roleplay, I'll wear a disguise. I want you to wear that Big Mac truck right in this little garage. Make it cream, make me scream, out in public, make a scene. I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you how I got this.
I think you need to.
Maybe that's a good place to stop.
I think you need to affect a funny voice.
Like, I don't know how many voices I have in me.
Gobble me, swallow. No, I can't do that.
Oh, wow. Maybe like an English accent.
Holes in this house. There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house. There's some holes. I said certified freak 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy make that pull-up game weak. Woo. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yo, fucking some wet ass pussy. Bring me a bucket and a mop for that wet ass pussy. I should have moved to verse 2.
The soys of a tangerine. Gobble me, swallow me, drip down the side of me. Yeah, quick jump out before you get inside of me. I tell him where to put it, never tell him where I'm about to be. I'll run down on him for I have a big word running me. Pow, pow, pow. Take your or tuck your shit, bite your lip. No, I can't do it anymore.
I wish it was more graphic, don't you?
Okay, get me in the mind of some Scottish stuff. How's Scottish people?
Oh no, Captain. She can't take it anymore.
Ask for a car while you ride that dick. While you ride that dick, you ain't never gonna fuck him for a thing, yeah? Here, he made his mind up for a came, yeah? Now you got your boots and your coat and your wet ass pussy, yeah, yeah, yeah. You got the phone for a picture of his wet ass pussy, click, click, click. Pay my tuition just to kiss me on a wet ass pussy, yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you're gonna make Ryan wanna see some wet ass pussy, yeah, yeah.
That's Tom Hiddleston right there with a vagina.
That was terrible. I'm laughing, but I think you might have to edit all this shit out.
That was the best one, I think.
Yeah.
What else you got? We got another verse.
Man, I wish I was better with accents, but I don't really have any. What about Jamaica? Could you do Jamaican? Hey, man.
Hey, man. Look, I need a hitter. I need a deep stroker. No, I'm back to Scottish.
Irish or something.
Irish or something, yeah. It's not right.
Hi-ti-ti-ti-ti.
I'm trying to think of, like, what's that guy on the Back to the Future?
Doc Brown.
No, not Doc Brown. It's a side character. He does voices in cars.
Oh, like the...
Run for fun.
Run for fun? What the hell kind of fun is that?
That's pretty good. Look, I need a hard hitter. Need a deep stroker. Need a weed smoker. Not a garter snake. No, I'm fucking it up. It was a good attempt. No, it was a bad attempt.
It started off fine.
Yeah, it started out pretty good.
Then I went back to Irish. It's very hard not to kind of slide into something different. Okay, something about a king cobra. Wet pussy, more wet pussy. And then you end with, there's some whores in this house, and it looks like about 12 times, and that's the end.
Your Honor, I'm a freak bitch. And handcuffs, leashes, switch my... Nah. I was thinking like a southern... Like, just because it says Your Honor, I was like, I wanted to do like a southern lawyer. Your
I'm
Honor.
a freak, bitch.
Your Honor.
Maybe go back to like verse 3 and see if you got something, OJ. I was trying to think of another voice I may have tried, but...
Sure. Look, I need a hard hitter. Need a deep... Oh, okay. I need a hard hitter. Need a deep stroker. Need a Henny drinker. Need a weed smoker. Not a garter snake. I need a king cobra with a hook in it. Hope to lean over. He got some money. That's where I'm headed. Pussy A1, just like his credit. All right, that's good for me. I couldn't do the accent. I just lost it.
I felt like you were doing a little bit of Ben Stein almost. And the thing is, like, I have heard you do like a rap song that was kind of not too bad. Maybe you should have just went with that.
I would kind of like to hear Ben Stein read this out.
Stein. Your Honor, I'm a freak bitch. Handcuffs, leashes, switch my wig, make him feel like he cheating. Put him on his knee, give him something to believe in. Never lost a fight, but I'm looking for a beating.
M-
Not quite right.
What Shatner? He does the spoken word.
That
albums.
actually maybe sounded a little more like Shatner because he's got like pauses like that.
In the food chain, I'm the one that eat ya.
There you go. You got it.
If he ate my ass, he's a bottom feeder.
He's a bottom
Keep
feeder.
going. I'm liking it so far.
Yeah.
Big D stand for the big demeanor. I could make you bust before I ever meet you. If it don't hang, then he can't bang. You can't hurt my feelings, but I like the pain. If he fuck me and ask, whose is it? When I ride the dick, I'ma spell my name. No, that was terrible.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was one of the better ones. I was laughing.
All right, should we take it into the shenanigans?
Yeah, on the end of the Shatner Wet Pussy song.
Since we just ruined that song for everybody for the rest of eternity. All right, real quick, let's go around.
God, I wish I had a Trump. I wish I could do Trump.
Oh, I didn't think about Trump. Maybe we should all polish up our Trump impressions in the next week.
Maybe we should all pick an impression. Like, who's a good one? Trump is a good one. Who else
Trump
is
is
a
a
good
good
one?
one.
I mean, there's some older ones that are probably good ones. After Dana Carvey, it'd probably be pretty easy to do like a Dana Carvey Bob Dole one or something. But that's pretty
Or
dated.
the Ross Perot one.
Try Christopher Walken.
A lot of people do Christopher Walken. It seems like it'd be hard, but maybe somebody could.
Boy, yeah, I don't think that would be a hard one. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more wet ass pussy.
It's more wet ass pussy.
Maybe you could do like a Chris Rock.
That's true, yeah.
Okay, real quick, AJ, where can the people find you?
I am on Twitter, a name for this 2, as in the number 2.
And Lester, where can the people find you?
On Twitter, I'm at unsolicited SUG.
And you can, of course, find me at Zach Jones Live. ZACH is how you spell my name. Of course, we want to encourage everyone to, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave a positive review. That helps with the algorithm so that more people can find us. And, anybody got anything else to add?
Oh, I'm sweating balls, man. Let's get out of here.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah,
is
it's
hot.
hot.
Okay, guys. Bye. See you next week.
Bye.
Take care.